Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Hope you guys are doing well on this Sunday evening. Hope everyone's had a great Sunday. Welcome to the Sunday football review between the Dragons and the Sharks, which we just seen. What a game! The Dragons finally showed up, and I'm happy for the Dragons. You know, they haven't won a game all season up until today, and I thought they had a really strong performance today. I thought they were outstanding. Um, as for Cronulla, we'll get into them in a minute. But before I start this video, I'm gonna give a quick couple of shout outs to some great YouTubers. I'm gonna give a shout out to Always Brisbane Broncos, the Bundy Chick 82, Isaac Ritchie, Entertain House, NRL Vid 090, Dean Sullivan, which is called Rugby League History, and Warriors NRL Fanatics. So shout out to all those YouTubers. If you haven't subscribed to them, I suggest you go and check them out. They're fantastic at what they do, and yeah, they're really good at what they're doing on YouTube. So let's get into the Sunday football review. The Bulldogs and Roosters game is going to be tomorrow night because of what happened with Aiden Tolman and a bit of a scare from the Bulldogs. So Bulldogs and Roosters will be tomorrow night now, Monday Night Football. So we only had the one game today, which was the Dragons beating the Sharks 30 points to 16. I am very surprised that the Dragons beat the Sharks 13 plus. They were due for a win, the Dragons. I'm not surprised that they did win, but 30 to 16 is something that I did not see coming. The Sharks, for God's sakes, they are turning into the Warriors. Just good one week, bad the next. I just don't understand the Sharks at the moment. They are so hot and cold. Can't seem to get a read on them at the moment. Let's talk about the game. The first try that was disallowed to Matt Duffy about a so-called obstruction. Now, I am absolutely sick to death of the obstruction rule all weekend. It's been a fucking disgrace. In the Manly Broncos game, it was bad. There was one where Cherry Evans scored and it was all good, and then Brody Croft was impeded, and I don't know, the obstruction rule there was a mess. It was a fucking disgrace in the Warriors Cowboys game. It was a disgrace in the Eels game, Eels and Panthers game. It was a mess in almost every game this weekend, except for one or two. There's a game tomorrow night, yeah, so I wonder if we'll see a try that costs someone off obstruction. But the obstruction rule, in my opinion, it's just if you go through the line and you stop, then fair enough. But if you go through the line and you don't impede anybody, why is it an obstruction? If you catch it on the inside shoulder and it doesn't impede anybody, why is it still no try? It doesn't make sense. The obstruction rule is more confusing than the fucking pubs at the moment. You can't even go to the pub and walk around because you got to sit down. Like seriously, if you've been to the pub the last week, you'll know how strict it is. If you've watched the football and you see an obstruction rule, you'll be so confused. You're so lost. It's an absolute mess, the obstruction rule. Let's talk about the game, though. What about the Dragons? They were absolutely sensational. What was their completion rate? 89% completion rate. Probably the best I've completed all year, to be honest. How many errors did they make today? 8 errors. It's not too bad. Bit of an improvement. Well, they got 3 penalties the whole game, so they did not need the referees on their back. How many missed tackles did the Dragons make? Missed tackles are very important in my opinion because, yeah, 20 missed tackles, that's, it is what it is. But look at the Sharks. I mean, 13 errors, that's not good enough. Great, now my phone's ringing. Let it ring for now. Missed tackles is not good enough. I mean, Cronulla for mine, they were terrible today. The Dragons were just outstanding. I thought they absolutely dominated the forward pack. I thought Paul Vaughan, Trent Merrin were absolutely outstanding. I thought Ben Hunt off the bench, he played hooker and made a late change. I thought he was outstanding. Matt Duffy, in my opinion, was definitely the man of the match. He was outstanding, Matt Duffy. I thought he had a blinder. Probably one of the best games of his career. I thought the Dragons, it took them a few weeks to get going. I think they were just a bit confused on what their best team was. They just, if you go back to round 1 and round 2, when they played the Tigers and the Panthers, they could have won those games and they did lose. So they're a bit unlucky in those games. And in the game against, who was it? Round 3, the Warriors, that was diabolical. And then the game against, who was it? The Bulldogs, they were terrible. But today, they made a few changes. They put Ben Hunt on the bench. They pulled Corey Norman in the halves with Adam Clune. Duffy at the back. Much better team. Corey Norman still played shit. He didn't play great, but I thought the spine, or not the spine, I thought the forward pack was outstanding. When Ben Hunt came on the field, McGuinness went to lock. They were a much better outfit. I think Trent Merrin needs to start lock every week. He lays a good platform. He tightens up all of the missed tackles and he tightens up the ruck with experience. And I just thought he was outstanding. The Dragons were great today. Now, will it last? I don't know. But look, Paul Vaughan, 180 metres. Duffy, 168. Ravalawa, over 140. That was so good from the Dragons. I thought they had a really strong performance. So, well done to St. George. As for Cronulla, I thought Dugan was good. Dugan's trying real hard. Yeah, for mine, the Sharks at the moment, they're just very hot and cold, and the Dragons they wanted it more today. And I said in my tipping video, I said everyone will say Sharks by 20 to 30 points, but the Dragons might show up. They'll get up for it. It's local derby. The Sharks were terrible today. Sean Johnson, he was criticised last week for not playing good. For fuck's sake, I don't know what that was today. It needs to be criticised. Andrew Fafita looks like he's put on another 15 to 20 kilos. Townsend looks ridiculous. The Sharks were terrible today, and full credit to the Dragons on a fantastic win. Next week, the Dragons play the Gold Coast, so I think the Dragons might be able to win that one. And as for the Sharks, who the Sharks got? Sharks have got the Bulldogs, so a game the Sharks lost last year. So, we'll see how they go, the Sharks and the Dragons next week, but well done to the Dragons. My best 3 players on ground. Number 3, I'm going to go Paul Vaughan. Number 2, I'm going to go with Ben Hunt. And number 1, my man of the match, Matt Duffy. Anyway, guys, I give the Sharks' performance today a 3 out of 10. They were shit. I give the Dragons' performance an 8 out of 10. Great performance from the Dragons. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the Sunday Football Review. Make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow night is the Bulldogs and Roosters game. I will be live streaming that game tomorrow night. So hop on youtube.com. I'll be live streaming that game between the Bulldogs and the Roosters. Until then, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good one, guys.